Hey everybody, what's going on? I'm Jay Giggs. This is Raid Shadow Legends. I'm here today with a public service announcement for the players. And that is that fruit from the medlar tree looks like a butthole. I'm here today with a public service announcement. Uncommon doesn't mean bad. And we have to stop this blasphemy. There are some pretty good uncommons in the game, and that's what I want to do. I want to take a look at some of the uncommons that I think have some utility. So there's a few usual suspects that we will get to and we will cover, and then there's some less popular ones. And I think today we're starting out with one that might not be as popular as someone like an Armiger or a Shield Guard or something like that. So today we're taking a look at Outlander. I think he's got a pretty nice little kit, and we're going to put him to use in Fire Knight today. So let's hop over and take a look at his kit, talk about how we're building him and how we're using him, and then we'll take a look at the run in Fire Knight. The nice thing about uncommons is that their kits are generally fairly simple. They have a debuff, they have a mechanic, they have something very simple that they contribute, and it's a little bit easier to figure out how to structure a team, how to figure out where they're going to fit in. If you're newer to the game and you're still learning champs, and sometimes legendary skills and even epic skills can be a little bit intimidating. There's paragraphs of descriptions of what they do, and you might just think it's a little too much. So this is a good way to kind of get an understanding of the mechanics, how they fit in, how to structure teams around it, and get utility out of somebody, as well as see something in a skill that will start to turn on lights in your head for like, oh, this is good for this, this is good for this. It's just a simpler version. On top of that, they don't need very many potions. They don't need books. You can just get their skill up to the market and green shards. Just all around much easier to use. So real quick note, we don't have masteries on him. I think you could probably justify it, honestly, depending on where you're at. If you're free to play or just very unlucky, he's not bad, and we're going to take a look at why. But his first skill is a two-hitter. So anyone that multi-hits with the first skill, automatically you should be thinking Fire Knight. They're usually going to need something else in their kit to truly be effective, but it's the thing that you should think of, right? It doesn't automatically mean they're good there, but that's the switch that should flip, right? Multi-hitter on the A1, Fire Knight utility, because you got to get that shield down before you can start to really do damage, debuffs, turn meter, knockback, all the things you need to do. You got to get that shield down first. So multi-hitters on the A1 are going to be very beneficial in there. So there you go. A2, we have an AoE with a 50% chance of decreasing the turn meter by 30%. You can skill this up and get it up to a 70% chance on a 3-turn cooldown. Now, 30% turn meter knockback is fairly substantial. So if you get him decently fast, he can contribute heavily to preventing Fire Knight from getting a turn. On top of that, it's an AoE, which is great for waves, because now you've got AoE turn meter knockback on the waves, helping your team cycle around. They're less likely to take damage. On top of that, he's the right affinity for Fire Knight 20. So even though he's an attack champ and he's inherently kind of squishy, he's not really in much danger as long as there's a decent amount of support around him, right? So here we have a very simple kit, but a very straightforward kit and a very effective kit. He's helping get the shield down, and he's helping deny turns. So these are two very big things to take into Fire Knight. Now, the way that I've built him is a stun set. I know that you farm stun gear from Fire Knight. You don't have to farm it from 20 though, right? So you probably have some stun gear on your way up. And I don't think that he's only going to be effective in 20. I think that he's particularly effective in the Force Fire Knight stages. But as long as he's not at weak affinity, I would say he's going to be pretty effective in here. So you can go with a stun set. If you don't have that, you could try a daze set. You know, you could try some other versions of crowd control, maybe a frost set if he's going to be being targeted, potential to freeze enemies there. Just make sure you have the support around him to heal him up. But I think ideally we're looking at a stun set to offer some crowd control with the AoE turn meter knockback, because now anybody he lands a stun on, he's also knocking back turn meter. You're just locking him down longer, which again, denying the enemy's turns is the best way to stay alive. So I think stun set. A little bit of 6-star gear here. We don't have the accessories maxed. There is a legendary piece here. Nothing here is unreasonable, though, right? If you're trying to do Fire Knight 20 especially, he's not even 200 speed. He doesn't have 250 accuracy. He's over that 200 threshold that you want to hit for the dungeons, but generally, I like to be around 250. He's not super tanky or anything. We went pretty heavy on the defense, but this is not like some wild endgame build. And again, he doesn't have masteries, so All we did was ascend him all the way, put his skill ups in him, throw a stun set on him, and take some decent support into the dungeon with him. So the rest of the team, you can see up here, we've got Drakgul, who I've been yelling about since he came out in the Fusion a while back. I think it's official, he's one of my favorite champs in the game. I am a big fan of Drakgul. I really like this dude. His support is wild. He's well worth resources. I've skilled him up. I've masteried him out. I've put really good gear on him. I am a big fan of this dude. He makes life so much easier in so many different ways. He's on my Clan Boss team and my free-to-play account, and we're 2 King Nightmare now. I'll card to the series up there if you're interested. It's a free-to-play series that I upload to daily. Kind of a podcasty vibe, but you just kind of get to see me play the account. You know, the struggles and all. I'm not just always presenting success and completed teams. So if you're interested in that, card's up there. But Drakgul's on the team. Stag Knight was part of the Battle Pass a while back. He's really great for Fire Knight. He's helpful on the waves, and he's got the slow on the A1. Again, kind of a simple setup here. It's nice because he's got epic base stats and epic multipliers and epic effectiveness, but a pretty simple kit where it's only 2 skills and then a passive, right? So we've got the speed on the A1, which is slowing the Fire Knight down once the shield is down. And then we've got the decreased attack and decreased defense for the waves and for the Fire Knight, because if you can get a decreased attack up on him, that's going to be really nice. When he does get a turn, you're a lot less likely to get wiped, okay? We got Armiger in the house, which, again, probably the most popular uncommon. I don't know who would really contend for that. We will do a video on Armiger. I've been a fan of this dude since the day I installed the game, and I was browsing around looking at champs. He stood out to me as an uncommon who was going to shine in this game, and he absolutely does. You can do a lot of things with this dude. He'll get his own video soon. And then we do have Coldheart in the mix, more so to speed things up. She's not necessary here, but I had her sitting around. I had her kind of ready for this, so we throw her in. She does have a 4-hitter on the A1, big damage on the A3 with turn meter knockback, and then she's a little bit of help on the waves, but not the way we have her built. So that's what we're looking at. So let's hop over now and take a look at the run, and we'll talk about that. So let's take a look at the run here. There's something really early right here. I've slowed it down. You can see the turn meter knockback. He landed it on 3 people on the first turn, and he'll land it several more times throughout the run, but I wanted you to get an idea of just the pushback that he offers every 3 turns. He's doing it pretty frequently. He just did it again already, right? Talisman of Power is his A2, so he does it pretty often. There is some stun potential because of how we have him geared, and there's a turn meter knockback, which again is helping us turn cycle around the enemies fairly effectively. You'll see we were never really in any danger, and a lot of that is due to Drakgul. Drakgul's support is really top-notch. It's fantastic support. He supports all types of damage dealers. He increases your ability to take damage. He's got the shield that protects you. It heals you. Fantastic. I've done videos on him as well. But right here, we'll slow it down again. You see the turn meter knockback. It's a chunk. It's not a full reset, but it's a chunk. And he's doing it fairly often. It is nice that he will do it. Even it's an AoE skill. He's using it on a single target, which is nice. He's an uncommon with better AI than some legendaries. So, you know, that's worth noting too. But you see, it's not a bad run with 329. Now, we do have Coldheart, which is speeding it up. But the team is not anything unreasonable, in my opinion. Coldheart could be swapped out for any other decent multi-hitter. It's just going to take a little bit longer, especially if it's a multi-hitter with some type of support. But that's a quick look at the run. So there you go. He doesn't do a lot of damage, but he offers a lot of support. So that's that. You saw he contributed fairly well to keeping the Fire Knight from getting turns. He did a decent job of contributing on the waves. He's pretty effective. He's not the end-all be-all for Fire Knight, but if you find yourself hurting for multi-hitters and turn meter knockback, he is someone I think you could bring up and work into a team, whether it be the lower stages or even the higher stages, apparently. So hopefully you got something out of this. Real quick, I'm going to go through and show you the gear, stats, and masteries on the rest of the team, just in case anybody wants to see that. You'll have to pause if you want to get a good look at it. But here's Drakgul's stats. Here are his masteries. Here are his Stag Knight's gear. And Here are his masteries, which are non-existent. We have Armiger. There is his gear. He's on Destroy because I've been using him in Doom Tower as well. When I do his video, we will talk about how we're using him in Doom Tower, but Destroy set on him has been pretty nice. And then here are his masteries if you want to get a peek at those. And then Outlander, again, has no masteries, and that's what his gear looks like. So that's it. Hope you got something out of this. If there are any uncommons you would like me to expedite getting a video out on, drop them below, and if I see a name is popular down there, I'll bump them up to the top of the list. I kind of am a few out ahead of myself here with champs that I want to do this for, but if there's one that's popular that you guys want to get a look at, definitely let me know below, and I will rearrange the list. So that's it. If you got anything out of this, like the video, that helps me out a lot. If you want to see more of what I do, subscribe. We try to have some fun around here. We try to be informational around here sometimes. You know, we're just living our lives, trying to have a good time. So that's it. I appreciate you guys watching. Hope it helped, and I'll see you